Hey, Alex, thanks so much for joining me today. We've got a really cool kind of interview lined up. We're doing something a little bit different for SBX and for all the Sales Boomerang community. And really, you've got an interesting story, success story, and for someone who just recently started using Sales Boomerang. And so we want to walk our audience through, right? Our loan officers that are using Sales Boomerang or have just started to use it, or maybe even considering using Sales Boomerang, kind of walk them through essentially this one case study, right, of something that you've recently experienced. And so what I'd like to do, Alex, is before we jump into it, why don't you do me a favor? Maybe introduce yourself, tell us your name, your role, what company you're with, and we'll get us kicked off. And for those that don't know me, I'm Pablo Troncoso, Director of Training and Adoption with Sales Boomerang. And I recently met Alex maybe a couple weeks ago when we did a training for your company, right? Rolling it out. So
Right.
Alex, take it away.
Yeah, so my name's Alex Luzadre. I'm a senior loan officer with Coastal Pacific Lending and branch manager as well. And yeah, we just started working with Sales Boomerang, maybe a week, 2 weeks ago. We had the initial training. So we started getting the email alerts coming through, and this is one of the very first, not the first one, but one of the first ones that kind of kicked it off with an inquiry watch. So
Yeah.
do you want me to jump right into it, or?
Well, let me do this. I want to share a message that came across my an email that came across my inbox, which kind of set off the whole thing and me reaching out to you eventually. But here's the email that I got that I was CC'd on that went out to your whole team. And this was from Rudy, who is the head honcho at Coastal Pacific. And his email literally said, Alex was made aware through a Sales Boomerang mortgage inquiry alert that a prospect of his was shopping. This customer had applied weeks ago and was getting his documentation together. He must have found his paperwork because he filled a loan app and had his credit pulled with another lender, right? So Sales Boomerang had actually sent that alert directly to Alex. And then here's the next part that was awesome. It says Sales Boomerang sent the notification. Alex called, reinstated the relationship, and now this customer is in processing. This was all in one day. And so I wanted to talk about that, right? I wanted to kind of go through that because I'm not surprised that this happened, because this is truly what I believe in, how we train, that this should happen. This literally can happen day one. It can happen not necessarily your very first day, although we've seen it happen the very first day that people receive alerts, but it can happen right away. So if you can, Alex, what I'd like you to do is maybe kind of walk me through, if you can, maybe paint the backstory of this customer, where it came from, what kind of relationship, if at all, you really had one with them, and then how it kind of reappeared into your life. So, and then I'm gonna kind of ask you some more questions throughout, but start with a little bit of the backstory.
Certainly. So this client actually came to me as a referral from another past client back in, I want to say, April, May. We took a look at everything he had going. At the time, he was in process for a refinance. And then took a look at his credit and everything. I told him if he made a couple adjustments and held off for a couple more months, he could likely get a much better deal. Right. So I reached back out to him in October. He had still kind of want to put things on hold and was still working on some credit issues. And then, lo and behold, I get the Sales Boomerang alert a week or so ago in November, saying that he had his credit pulled. So gave him a call, asked him, literally read the exact script from Sales Boomerang for the mortgage inquiry alert. I just kind of let him, tell me what was going on. He said his credit had improved. He was ready to go. This is what this other lender was giving him. If I could, match it or beat it, he'd be more than happy to use me. And lo and behold, our pricing, blew theirs out of the water. So he's like, yeah, what do I need to do? So we had already had an application for, most of the complete information. So we just needed some updated information from him, some pay stubs and whatnot. Was able to get him submitted that day.
That's awesome, man. I'd love to hear that. So literally 5 months ago, you met this guy for the first time. It was a referral from another client.
Mm-hmm.
Great job, by the way. And obviously he wasn't fully committed to you, right? Referrals are essentially, borrowed, borrowed authority that you might be able to help them out. It's not a guaranteed,
Right.
approval. And then all of a sudden he does what, most people do, right? If they're smart, they're gonna possibly look at other areas, right? If there's any, especially in times like this, right, where all we're getting is marketing and seeing all this from all different directions. But all of a sudden you get this alert, you reach back out to him. Tell me what you said. Like, what was it that made it like a simple no-brainer where other people might say, oh, you know what? He's shopping with somebody else. He's got it. Like, he's already moved on. What kind of went through the process there?
Yeah, I mean, literally what I said was on the script. Hey, this is Alex, Cold Pacific Lending. Been a while since we spoke, which it really had at that point. But I was making an effort to personally reach out to all my clients, even though while we're extremely busy, and he was my priority that day. So I just want to reach out, thank him for considering us, letting you know if you have any questions, concerns, we're here for you, and just kind of wanted to see what's going on. If you're just testing the market, or do you have any questions? And just kind of let him take it and run with it from there. So,
and tell me, the next thing out of his mouth was, I had my credit pulled?
No, no, he didn't mention the credit pull at all. It was just like, this is what I've got. I got the process started with this guy. Here's the rate, terms, and everything, and kind of laid the groundwork for me to come back and see what we could do.
Okay, so essentially he said, hey, look, match or beat it, but I'd like to work with you. Something like that, something along those lines. Okay, awesome. And so you were able to, like you said, that same day, essentially get him into processing.
Same day.
Update his file, get the information, and get him right into processing. And you had received that alert that morning?
First thing in the morning.
Love it.
Beautiful turnaround, man. I'll take more of those.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was obviously very quick. You used our script. And what I love about that script that you just used, it's a serving approach, right? You didn't call him up saying, hey, Mr. So-and-so, like, why are you working with somebody else? Or, I have it in mind that you might be in the market with another lender. Why is that the case? I'm the one that's trying to help you. I put in all this effort with you, right? We call that the stalking approach, but you took the serving approach, which is what that script really lies out there. Do you think, clearly it worked, but do you think had you gone in a different direction, you might have had a little bit of pushback?
Oh, I think tenfold. It would have been a completely different conversation, and I don't know if the outcome would have been the same, but the feel of that conversation certainly would have gone in a different direction. I really like the serving approach, where it's, hey, what can I do for you, not what can you do for me.
Right. That's awesome. And that, I think that approach works in so much, especially these days, right? Whether you're in sales, or whether you're leading your pipeline or you're leading your family, I think that's the kind of approach that people want. They want to be led, and they want to work with someone they can trust. And I think doing that, and just putting yourself out there first and foremost, right? Where it's like, I'm reaching out to all of my past people, let them know that I'm here. And so, they've had a lot of questions, and if you've got any questions, I just want to let you know you've got somebody you can trust to ask them to. All right, and then lastly, let me ask you this. I guess a couple things. What kind of level of relationship do you think? And obviously, you haven't gotten him through it, right? You literally just put him from an alert into an app, into that process. What do you think this relationship, if you get him on board, right, either between you and him or you and the person that referred him to you, what do you think is going to come of that?
It's kind of hard to say where it's going to go in the future, right? But I think as long as I continue to approach that relationship from a service minded mentality, letting him know that I'm here for him, and if he has any questions or knows anybody that has any questions or needs any help, like my door is always open, my phone line's always here.
Yeah.
So I would expect that to kind of build from where it is now, and see where it goes.
Awesome. And if you can share with us the loan amount, what was the loan size on that you put in the process?
That was a cash out for $440,000 total.
Fantastic. Right on. And listen, I would encourage you, Alex, and anyone else that's watching this, as you get closer and closer to that close date, I would encourage you to do this. If you want to basically guarantee as close as a guarantee as you can for yourself. The rest of this guy's transactions moving forward is, as you get closer to that close date, reach out to him the week of his settlement, and not after, the week of, and say, hey, listen, Mr. Borrower, I know we've gone through a lot, right? And I'm so glad you ended up moving forward with me. Here's what's going to happen over the course of the next 10 to 12 months. We're going to reach out to you. We're going to do this. We're going to do a yearly checkup with you, right? It'll be a 15-minute call. We'll schedule it in your calendar. We'll do it as a Zoom, whether myself or my LOA, and it'll just help you sleep better. You'll know that you're in the right product at that time and so forth, right? And but because of the technology that we have and because of the systems and the teams that we have, just the same way that, hey, maybe I showed up at the right time for this transaction. If I happen to call you before our scheduled call, if I text you or I call you, make sure you answer, because chances are it's going to be good news.
Definitely.
Right. Chances are it's going to be good news. And because that's what we do, we're able to help people get them into their next better qualified, vehicle. And that's a mortgage for you, to help you with your goals. And so, I would encourage you to do that. But I'm telling you, man, I think that between that and the fact that if you can get an awesome testimonial, not just from him, but also from the person that referred you that deal, there's multiple transactions that you're gonna be able to reap from that, from one alert. So, do you have any advice to any other people that are starting out using Sales Boomerang, or considering using Sales Boomerang?
I would say trust in the process. These guys definitely know what they're doing. I like these scripts from a service-minded mentality. Not a lot of people like scripts. They think they could fly from the cuff and kind of reinvent the wheel, so to speak. But I'm here to tell you this wheel is working. It's well greased, and it'll take you good places. So I would say follow the process and keep an eye out for these alerts.
Awesome. Alex Luzadre, thank you so much. Pleasure working with you, my friend, and we look forward to your success.
Thank you very much. You as well.